Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine, Mojo Radio, and The Examiner. With me today, Phil Sgrosso of As I Lay Dying. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You guys are at Rocket Town in Nashville tonight, I think, on the Decade of Destruction tour.
That is right.
How's it going so far?
It's good. Did sound check earlier. Everything's sounding how it should. It's a little rainy outside, so not too much going on besides that.
I know finding good food on tour can be hell sometimes. Do you have some favorite spots in certain cities that you look forward to going to?
Well, anytime we're in the South, we try to find good barbecue. I mean, that's a given for the most part. So, just kind of whatever area we're in, we're like, I don't know. Sometimes it's pretty tough, but, you can usually find something pretty good, asking the promoter or just local friends and stuff.
Did you find it difficult when you're not in the United States and other countries and stuff?
Yes, in Europe it's definitely the most difficult, but everything closes early and it's all kebab shops for the most part, and it's a little more difficult.
Now you guys are celebrating the band's first decade. You've been with the band since 2003. What stands out most over this 10-year milestone for you?
Well, I mean, it's just our fan base just continues to keep growing, and we just keep putting out albums consistently, and everything's just always been on an upward progression. So I guess that's all you can ask for as a musician.
Are there one or two high points that stick out over that time, or one or two low points you wish you could go back and have a mulligan on?
Not too many mulligans, but, I think when, you go to Europe and they have just these monstrous metal festivals, and I think, us, being a part of that every year is always something that we always look forward to. And, it's like on our DVD, This Is Who We Are DVD, we play Vakken, and that was in front of like 60,000 metalheads, and we played it this past year, and there was even more people. So it's always crazy being a part of it. It's just such a huge metal event, The
economy's no better in Europe than it is here. Why is it you think that even though, metal has such a foundation in America, that it's so much more involved over there than it is here?
I mean, they're just a lot of metal fans are more intense in Europe. I guess the people in general are just more intense, and so when they, get into a certain style of music, they're all about it, and they just live it all day, every day. So it's always exciting to see that. It's not like fans in America aren't the same, but it's more intense, I guess, over there.
Now, we are starting to see a few more of the festival-type things going on here, like Mayhem, Uproar, and stuff like that. Do you think that we're going to continue to see more of those? Have you gotten a chance to play any of them yet?
We've done Ozfest, did that back in 2005. And a few years after, it kind of slowed down and kind of died out. Warped Tour, we've done a couple times, and, there's always going to be new festivals coming in and putting together, a big package, and, hopefully it's just the genre can keep replenishing itself, a lot more younger bands coming up, doing good things for the genre, and hopefully it'll keep growing.
Any chance we might actually see As I Lay Dying on this year's Mayhem Festival?
There is a possibility of that. That's all I can say.
Well, that would be nice. We get so many great bands, but you guys have not been out there yet for that. Now, the new 10th anniversary album Decas came out last month. It's got something old, something new, something borrowed. Tell us a little bit about the album.
Yeah, it's just this, assortment of songs we wanted to put together. We had this track Paralyzed that opens Decas. We had that in our back pockets from the last recording session for the Powerless Rise, and kind of just saving it for, a special occasion. And then when we're just thinking like, it's our 10-year anniversary. That'll be like the kind of foundation for it. And then we wrote two more new songs, which was from Shapeless to Breakable, Moving Forward. And then we've never done any covers before, so we're like, hey, let's kind of start brainstorming what's some ideas that, you know, are more consistent with our sound, you know. But so that's why, you know, Slayer and Judas Priest just kind of stood out as like, you know, we could do that, and, you know, with a little bit more modern production, and, you know, it could be cool. And then the remixes, it's definitely not for everyone, but I think like us in the band were just more excited about it because we got to work with other artists, Inner Party System, Ben from Dillinger, Big Chocolate, to kind of get just a new interpretation of our older songs, and thought that turned out really cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's got a little bit of something for everybody. A lot of the metalheads may not be so much into the remixes, but, you know, you make up for it with other stuff. I was going to ask you, I knew you guys had done Paralyzed. You were writing that at the end of the Powerless Rise sessions. And as strong as that song is, why didn't you guys take the extra time to get that on the Powerless Rise record?
Well, I mean, it just didn't really seem like it had a place so much, you know, just with how cohesive it was with all the other songs on the album. I mean, it's totally us, but I think at that point, because we kind of threw everything together for that in the studio, and, you know, the end result, we were, you know, very proud of it, but we were just like, what track is it going to be? And what, you know, we were just, I don't know, it just seemed better to save it for later and just, you know, do that.
So now you guys, like you said, you did your first cover tracks. We got some Slayer on there, and of course the mighty Judas Priest. Now, and I want to talk about the video in a minute, but we're getting ready to do our top 50 metal albums list of all time. So which metal albums were game changers for you?
I'd say Number of the Beast. I'll go back, you know, I wasn't even born when some of these records came out, but Motorhead, Bastard, I think that just has a great sound, great songs, it's driving. We'll say At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul was a big one for me. Living Sacrifice, The Hammering Process, Hatebreed, Perseverance. I thought, you know, when that came out, that was just huge, you know, for heavy music, kind of that transition from out of, you know, the new metal era into just back to heavy, you know, the heaviest songs you can have. Yeah, so maybe that's a few. Soilwork, a few of the old ones.
If you had to pick a number one metal album of all time, what album do you think you might put up at the top of the list?
I want to say, and a lot of people might disagree, but a lot of people might agree at the same time, I love the Black Album from Metallica. Like, I was obsessed with that for a few months, just listening to every little thing going on and just the production of it. And, you know, I watched a year and a half of Metallica when they were in the studio doing it, and I was just like, man, it's just such a monstrous record, you know?
Well, as long as you didn't say Saint Anger, I think you're okay with that. So
that's my second pick, yeah.
Now, which album of 2011 has most surprised or intrigued you?
I'd say the new Mastodon. I really didn't have any expectations. I just knew it'd be great. And it's just it's got all the old Mastodon elements, but it has this just fresh feel to it. And it's also like the best production I think they've done. And it's just from start to finish. I'm just so fascinated by all their vocal hooks and everything, and all three of them singing together. And it's just, to me, that's just a great record.
It is an excellent album, certainly one of the top for the year. Sabbath announced their reunion last month. What were your thoughts on the reunion, and do you think at this stage in their career, with all the changes in music and the years that have gone by, that they can actually make an album that is worthy of what they put out back in the 70s?
I mean, who knows? They've had a lot of years to put something together, you know, and I mean, I just don't know. Depends like how I don't know, everything about its production, how well Ozzy can really sing nowadays. But, you know, Tony Iommi. You know, I will definitely give it a listen. But you know, I don't know. I guess we just have to see what happens.
Tell us about making the Electric Eye video.
It was really just, I mean, Nick, another guitar player, he put together this, the concept overall for it. And, you know, we just felt like we could have a little bit more fun with it, you know, being that it's a cover, it's a more upbeat kind of fun song. So when it was like, all right, we're going out to the desert and you guys are going to fight off scorpions from outer space, it's like, all right. I mean, sure. I mean, we've never really done a video like as fun as that, but I think overall it you know, gets the point across. And the director was he was awesome to work with, and it was a pretty fun day.
Now on the current tour, I know you guys are trying to play 2 or 3 songs from each of the 5 albums. Are you also playing anything from the Decca's album, including the cover, or?
We're actually playing only Paralyzed, and you know, we'll wait for the right tour to bust out Electric Eye live. I mean, we're all looking forward to the day we can actually play that, because it's a fun song. It's cool to go back and just relearn riffs that, you know, are 25 years old, and just be like, yeah, man, this was, you know, just, it's still cool. You know, that's just what makes it like a timeless song and a timeless band, you know, just 25 years later still playing it, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. Kind of makes you wonder what band will be covering an As I Lay Dying track 25 years from now, and what song that might be.
Oh, that's a mind blower right there.
Yeah. So besides music, what topic or topics could you talk about for hours?
Oh man, I'd say maybe like football. I've got the past probably 5 years, I'd be, you know, kind of abandoned my love for baseball and switched over to football. And, you know, I do like this fantasy league with a few friends, and, you know, you just get more involved with every team, like every star player. You know, it's not just like we're rooting for the Chargers only, we're rooting for just great players. And, so football, Nick and I always chatted up about that. And movies, I'll talk about movies for days if I could. You know, playing, some friends, we play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, try to link an actor to a movie that another actor's in, and another movie, another actor, and then Kevin Bacon.
Give us a couple of your all-time favorite movies.
Everyone thinks this is random, but at the same time, I think they appreciate it. Point Break, my favorite movie. Love Patrick Swayze. Rest in peace. Blood In, Blood Out. Oh, man. I actually love Batman Begins. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Right. There's directing, and Christian Bale. So Batman Begins.
So.
Yeah, The Prestige. That's another one with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale, too. Yeah, I just, mostly comedies, but a really good, I don't know, thriller action movie is always nice.
So who on your fantasy team did the best for you this year, and who let you down?
Well, I can answer both of those with the same player, Adrian Peterson. He scored me consistently good points, and then right before the playoffs start, has to break his ankle or whatever, so he's out, and so I lost in the playoffs. So I didn't have him.
That's a heartbreaker. I had Aaron Rodgers this year, so it was a good year there, but everybody else on my team seemed to be on the IR. So
yeah, I had Rodgers last year, and I won our league. And I mean, I've just been a huge Rodgers fan, you know, the past couple years, just because he consistently puts up points.
So who's going to take the Super Bowl then this year? What's your prediction?
Green Bay, all the way.
All right. From the mouth of Phil Sgrosso of As I Lay Dying. Phil, thanks so much for taking the time. You guys,
yeah, no problem.
You guys be safe on the road. What's up after this tour?
We go to write our next full-length album.
Excellent. Any hope it'll be out in 2012, or?
It will be out definitely in 2012.
Before the world ends at the end of the year?
That's the goal.
All right. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Take care.